And so I remember just walking out of the Comedy Store and I was just like tears welling off my eyes, and I just went for like a 40-minute walk along Hollywood Boulevard. I definitely was like really, really down. You know, I'd pretty much like sacrificed like last 7 years of my life. Like I sort of just came back and I was like, fuck it. I did all that for nothing. Target, line it up, and then look away and shoot. So slingers, just heading to the driving range. This is a routine that I started about 6 months ago when I moved into my new place. It'd be like probably our most popular driving range out here in Auckland. It's real cool. Shout out to everybody that's hopped in the Facebook group. We're at, I think like 350 members in the Facebook group. And the goal with the Facebook group, I just want to turn it into this massive golf community. And I know everyone that does social media talks about like, let's build a community. Yeah, community. Okay, I've got this genius idea. Let's build a community. Let's bring people all together. And you're sitting there and you're like, yo, what's the idea? And they're like, yeah, that's it. We're gonna bring people together. We'll bring people from different places together. Community. That's it. Yo. Fuck. Give them all the money. But as I'm making fun of it, that's literally what the fuck I'm talking about doing. Golf is both the most fun sport to ever play, and it's super intimidating, especially when you're starting out. Fuck, it's intimidating when you've played for ages. What used to be accepted as the culture, I think is definitely phasing out now, but you know, there's sort of an elitist vibe to it still. There probably always will be in golf. Anything with rich old white dudes gonna have that kind of buzz, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's like saying like any body of water where Māoris live near is gonna get manus popped in it. Like that's not a good or a bad thing. And well, that one's probably more a good thing. But yeah, you know what the fuck I mean. Golf is a super hard sport to get into and get super invested in. I think on that side of things, I think that's why the social media element of golf has really, really taken off, because it's a sport that you could dive into and really explore. And I think we've been able to see people do that without the hindrances that there used to be, which was obviously like what the sport brought. You know, it was hard to get onto a course. It was hard to get into a club. Not only just the fact that it's intimidating, it's expensive as fuck. So I think the I'm saying heaps of shit I've never said before, and I think it's when a camera comes out, I just start saying shit I've never said. Democratization? That sounds almost right. With golf opening up because of social media, you've just seen more and more opportunities for people to consume and be part of the game. I think it's really changed kind of the culture of golf. But I think a part of that is people are really getting into the culture of it online, but I think it's still difficult for people in person too. So I basically wanted to build a community that we just did a whole bunch of fun shit together. You know, I got people involved in the content, building all these things that are all around like making it all accessible. Hopefully I've made the game like accessible as a whole through that as well, and that's really like the biggest thing when it comes to what I wanted to build with slingers, which is why you'll see that I say shit and I'm like, sling is sling. If you look at the way I talk about it, it's really around this idea that anybody can play golf, because it's true. When I was growing up, it sounds really trivial, but that wasn't what you were kind of taught. You were taught everybody could play golf. It felt like something that was reserved for, not necessarily just if you were rich enough, but you had to be good enough to play golf. When you ask people, oh, have you ever tried to play golf? And I'm like, nah, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for that. And I'm like, so, fuck, were you a baby? And if I asked you, like, do you walk yet? And you're like, nah, I'm not good enough. I'm just going to keep crawling. Is that what you said? I'd be like, how the fuck can you create a full sentence and you still can't walk? I've just got my new putter, so I'm going to do a bit of putting practice. I watched Phil Mickelson's Master of the Short Game. I'm kind of going to go one by one, like trying out a lot of the things that he says in that for each sort of part of the game. So today will just be putting. I'll still do my other stuff that I kind of like coming and practicing. Plus I've got my new putter and I really need to practice like getting confident with that putter. The shout out for fine tune components, you guys killed that. It's the complete opposite of what my putter right now, as you all know if you follow me, is my mum's putter. It's very short and very light, and that actually, like, I was putting really well with it by the end of it. This one's a lot heavier, it's taller, well it's like 4 my height. Gonna be a lot of just finding what my rhythm is with it. Even being able to judge like weight, speed, all that kind of stuff is gonna be very different with this putter, so that's what today's really all about. Phil actually said a couple interesting things. The first thing, I don't know if you saw in that fine tune component video, was that I realized that I'm left eye dominant. They did that whole fucking thing. So that was crazy. I think he said something like he likes to line up like behind it. I think that's to get a read of it. I'm not sure exactly what he meant by it. I kind of like the idea of that. And my big thing is, now that I've learned that I'm left eye dominant, is like really leaning on reading it with my left eye. Phil Mickelson, one of the first things he says is to make your grip stronger with your top hand, and that's to promote like the club staying square, which was real interesting because I always felt like I saw his putting stroke, and Bryson actually does a similar thing, and it almost looks like a cricket, whatever the fuck cricketers do, like they're kind of blocking it. But then it makes sense why, because yeah, when he explained the strong grip thing, I was like, that makes sense. And his thought process with that is because that keeps the face, promotes it a lot more square. The other thing he also said was it being a shoulder movement, and you're just leading with your wrists, and what that does, it avoids you like hinging them. But if you lead with your wrists, see that just like keeps it square. So that's another thing that I'm practicing as well. And he said putting is all about like start line, so just like finding a start line and just like staying on that. Ooh, that felt good. I actually like this. So this is from Pete, the setting the face down first, and from Phil, like almost looking behind the ball, and I'm like reading it with my left eye. Yeah. I searched on ChatGPT and I was like, what do you do when you're left eye dominant and you're reading putts? Do you close one eye? And it said not to close one eye, but it said you can squint one eye, and that just promotes that you're definitely reading it with your stronger eye. A strong grip. I like that. That almost looks left to right to me. Dang. Yep, that's left to right. That strong grip is actually like really nice. Yo. And laying the head down. Yo. Alright. We can do a ladder now. Today was mainly about like both building a pre-shot routine and then just getting confident with my new putting stroke with this new putter. Main thing I'm going to keep myself accountable to is doing my new routine over every shot. So, getting a read. It's right to left. Yo. I like it. The strong grip feels so strange. I used to have a tendency to like slice the putter. It was fucking weird. But now it just feels a lot more confident just going straight back, straight forward. Oh, can't be mad at that. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I like the eye behind the ball thing. I actually couldn't tell, and then I brought my head back behind the ball and I could see it. I like that. Yep. Oh, yeah, I like this. That's gonna work for me. Yep. Oh. Straight up, the eye behind the ball. Low-key game changer for me. I really liked that. I think they call it the clock drill, but I grew up calling it around the world. Oh, that's a great putt. Yeah, eye behind the ball helped again. I committed to one read when I was looking at it from behind, but then I don't know what it is. Getting over the top of it, but then looking behind. Oh, cooked it. I felt confident there. Because one of the things that Phil said, which I thought was so smart, was like someone with a gun doesn't look at it at their target like that. They look at it like that. And that's what essentially like getting your head behind the ball is looking at your target like through a scope. I thought it was genius. I also, like 3 feet inwards, look at the target when I'm like hitting my stroke as well. And I guess it's that same principle of, like, I guess someone with a gun doesn't look at their target, line it up, and then look away and shoot. Or they look at the trigger and shoot. They like look at it and shoot while they're looking through. Like same with when you're throwing darts, like you don't line up the dartboard and then you look at your hand. You keep looking at the target. So that's another thing that I implemented. And I do it like 3 feet inwards. I'm more thinking about the weight than the target. So that's why I like will look at the putter sort of beyond that, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm already feeling a lot more confident. Gonna do a putting ladder. Can't go home till I've sunk everyone in a row. So I'll go sink, then I can move back, sink, then I can move back. If I miss, then I have to go back. And if I sink, then I can move back. But if I keep missing, then I have to keep going forward. We'll do that. That's fun. Job kicked it, staying too close. So that means I have to go back to 2. Yo. Oh my gosh, did it again. There's 2. Oh, we're gonna be here all day. There we go. That's 3. What the fuck was it? My back's starting to hurt. Pack it in. I get like really bad lower back pain if I haven't stretched out my hips. Yeah, my back starts getting really sore. So yeah, this is a real good stretch for your hips. So just, yeah. Foot up on your knee like you're sitting, but then back straight, and then you just slowly bring it forward. And you'll just feel that in your hip flexors. Holy. Hell yeah, that's very tight. Ooh, I'm weird, like I give off that I'm not super competitive, but I'm like extremely competitive. Gives you a better feel for your touch around the green as a whole. Obviously not easy to do everywhere. Not everywhere has the space, so I'm very lucky here. And yes, these are driving range balls. That I'm not trying to go professional or anything like that. I just want to enjoy like playing the game. And to be honest, I also want to smoke my cousins and my brothers every time I play with them. Life's been good. There we go. I'm kind of at a stage in my life where definitely a bit of a crossroads, which I think we're all at. If you spend a lot of time on social media like I do, you think everyone else is not at that crossroads. Oh my God. The biggest thing is that I've always found is just keep like going forward. Now that sounds like super cliche, but what I find that means is that like I find I get into states where I'm like sitting around waiting for what's happening next, and that's not keeping on moving forward. What gets really hard is I'll get into this headspace where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. And then you see like what people are doing online and you're like, fuck, they are doing something. They do know what they're doing. Damn, my triple stroke this morning is just not good. My comedy career has been in a bit of a strange spot for the last 2 years. Basically what happened was I went to America. You know, I signed a big deal over there. And I thought that was going to be me. Like, I thought my life was set. That's it. I'm out of here. Peace out. And it just didn't turn out that way. It was funny because the first time I ever went to America, my career was on the up, I'd say. I was considered like a promising up-and-comer because I was 26. You know, I'd sold out kind of tours across the country, had a TV show, come out on Comedy Central. So I was like I was considered like on the up, which is when places like that, really want to sign you. And my first trip over there was in the middle of the writer's strike. I don't know if you know much about that, but basically Hollywood writers union struck. Then they basically stopped work. So all the TV work in Hollywood stopped. And basically they were striking because they wanted a new bargaining deal to protect their jobs because AI was kind of just coming into the forefront. And they just wanted legislative protections around, them not being replaced by AI, which obviously I'm all for. But that meant that the whole industry stopped. So my first trip over there, I signed, but they were basically just like, we can't do anything. You weren't even allowed to go out for meetings. You weren't allowed to meet with networks. This is a story I actually haven't told. I shot a pilot for a Comedy Central series, animation in the US. Honestly, I was like, yo, this is it. I'm going to crack it. And the writer's strike started like the very next day. I remember calling my manager and being like, hey, is it like against the strike rules if I do this even though the strike technically doesn't start till tomorrow? And he was like, nah, it's fine. As long as you get your bid in before the strike officially starts, like you won't kind of get in trouble, because what happens is if you work during an active strike, you can get blacklisted by the union. And because I technically also wasn't writing on it, for me, I was just like, okay, sweet, we'll go in and do it. So I did it. The strike started the next day. It was crazy. I met this producer who was producing the show. He really liked me. He thought I was awesome. I really like your comedy, man. Like, once your managers sent through everything, we really thought, like, we love your voice. I think it's very unique out here in America, and we could see you really being able to break through just because it's not something we've ever seen before. And I remember having that meeting, and you have that and it's like something out of a movie, and you just kind of think like, fuck, this is it. Like, my life is going to change forever. The strike happens the next day, and that same producer, he texts me and he's like, oh bro, I'm really sorry. Like, not only is the show not going ahead, but I just got fired. I just got laid off. He sent this massive message and he was just like, I'm really sorry. Like, I literally had no idea that this was going to happen. Found out this morning, and I don't even know like what I'm doing next. So I felt really bad for him because he had a family. I think what scared me was this guy was quite high up and he'd done a lot and he was really experienced, and he just got let go just like that. And I was like, fuck, if a guy like that is disposable over here, what the fuck am I? But I sent him this message and I'm like, bro, I'm really, really sorry to hear, man. Like, I wish if there was something I could help with. Anything you do need, I am here for you. Especially because I felt like he took like a big shot on me. And even honestly, just being like as welcoming as he was. I guess Americans don't understand that's so important to like us Kiwis, like stuff like that. I think for them, it's not only is it kind of like trivial, it's almost like not even important. So much so that they don't ever do it. Whereas this guy was like awesome. Really made me feel welcome for the first time kind of since I'd been in America. And basically that kind of put off any chance for me to do any work for the next like 3 months. But then in that time, because Hollywood wasn't able to make anything, all the companies just started laying people off because they obviously weren't able to make any money. And people were just getting let off like left, right and center. Hollywood went through this massive like basically downturn, essentially like a recession. It honestly is still only recovering like right now, and that's like 2 years later. And so in that time, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but my plan was to move over to America. And then because that all happened, I just kind of didn't really see like how else I was going to get an opportunity. Ended up not going. And it kind of like threw me into a space where I was like, oh fuck, I felt like I was really ready for this move and this next step in my career. And yeah, I feel like it's not happening. Like that first time in America was unreal. I got to open for Theo Von, went on tour with Noel, obviously shot the pilot, and in my head I was like, fuck, I've cracked it, I've made it. I'm about to really like do it over here. And then after like all that stuff sort of happened, I kind of just came back to New Zealand and was just like, oh fuck, I don't really know like what to do. Kind of just like sat at home for a few months and just got real depressed. And around that time was when T and I started dating again. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary. But she was like instrumental in that time because I kind of came back like, I don't want to say like a broken version of myself, but I definitely was like really, really down because I'd built up my whole life, made all these sacrifices. You know, I pretty much like sacrificed the like last 7 years of my life. Like didn't go to friends' weddings, didn't go to baby showers, funerals because I was always like traveling on tour. You know, I was always doing a million things, just trying to like really make it work. Because obviously like trying to get out of the circumstances that I've talked about before that I was in. And I sort of just came back and I was like, fuck it. I did all that for nothing. So I was in this really like deep rut for quite a while. I remember just sort of sitting there being like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? It was probably like all of 2023 was basically a year of like me being depressed, essentially. Not knowing what I was gonna do next. And if you kind of go back to 2023, I didn't really do like a whole lot outside of like some social media stuff. I pretty much had to be like dragged to go do it. So that was really, really tough. Around, sometime in 2024, I can't remember exactly when I started doing YouTube stuff because essentially I was just like, well, fuck. I try to like make the Hollywood thing work. I've tried to get projects done. So obviously that time in Hollywood was like unreal. Because of like all the strikes and stuff there wasn't really anything I could sort of do over that period. So I was just kind of like sitting on my hands, twiddling my thumbs, just sort of waiting for my manager to call and be like, all right, we're ready to go again. And he didn't call for like 6 months. I just didn't hear from him. Tiana was going on a trip around Europe then. For me, I was just like, well, fuck it. Like now's not the time for me to go on holiday. Like now is the time I'm supposed to like get to work. Cause yeah, if I go on holiday now, like I'm gonna miss this opportunity. She was understanding, like she never pushed it on me, and if anything, I wasn't even supposed to go initially. And I remember kind of just sitting there and thinking, like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? And she sat down one day and she asked me, she was like, would you want to come? Would you want to come on the trip? Because I know you're like sort of tossing up what you're going to do. So yeah, like, I don't want to pull you away from work, but would love for you to come. That sort of became my sole focus for 2024 was, all right, I'll just work and do whatever I can to save up to go to Europe. So pretty much I just was doing social media stuff, just doing anything that I could do for work to save up a bit of money, doing corporate gigs and stuff. And I wasn't doing it with any like bigger plan. It was just to save up for this Europe trip. And so saved up, went for the Europe trip. The plan was I'll go to Europe for 2 months and then I'll tack on a trip to America at the end. And at this point, it's been a year since I've been back to America. Since that 12 months beforehand, that was like super crazy for me. The writer strike has now ended, and now I can kind of like go see like where all my connections in Hollywood are at. You know, I got up at the Comedy Store last time I was there. I shot a TV pilot, opened for like some big names. Like this would be unreal. And we go back to America after the Europe trip, and Europe was awesome. Like it was my first time taking like any sort of time off, and I loved it. And like I grew up traveling with my parents, so being back in that mode again was, I realized I hadn't actually done that for a long time, not since I was like 21 on the trip that changed my life when I went traveling then. So Europe was awesome, and then we go back to America afterwards, and T was awesome about it. I was just like, if you come to America with me, and you know, you extend your trip for like another month, that would really mean a lot. So she came along, and I just like, the plan was to go there, reach out to everybody, kind of get things rolling in motion again. Now that the industry was like freeing up again, and I just like couldn't get a response from anyone. My manager wouldn't even pick up my calls. Bro, it was devastating, honestly. It's a good lesson. Like, any relationship is not gonna prosper if you don't water it. But I think in my head I had been like, whoa, nothing was sort of happening. You know, we talked on these things. Like I've only like gotten older, so supposedly I've grown, gotten better. Like, okay, surely like we were all just in the state where we were just waiting for things to get started, and now we can get started. You know, I was naive in that, and I was stupid in thinking that was like going to be enough, because I just got back there and no one gave a fuck. No one cared. This is pretty stick, but even Theo was real good. Theo had said to the comedy store, he had introduced me to the bookers and the guy that runs the comedy store, and he was like, hey, get this guy's details and get him up like whenever he needs. And they were actually real awesome. And after he had introduced me, they put me up a bunch of times, and I honestly thought it was like my home club. I was like, fuck, this place feels like my home. These people have been awesome. I had reached out while I was in Europe to start like kind of lining up meetings and stuff for America. So it's not like I just rocked up and hoped that things just fell into place. Like I'd been keeping in touch with people, and I'd been like planning for the trip for the end of Europe. Like I'd had all these things lined up, all these meetings to catch up with people, even had like pitches lined up for a TV show that I was developing, that I'd started developing a year prior. But, you know, obviously because of the strike, we couldn't really do anything. And yeah, like I said, I just couldn't get responses from anyone once I got there. I'd be like, hey, yo, I'm in LA, let's catch up. And not even oh, no, I'm busy, or oh, like, I can't really do it right now, just nothing. And initially I was like, fuck, okay, maybe, you know, it's just bad coincidence. And then I remember I had organized like a spot at the store in the main room, and they'd like given me the slot. They're like, hey, can you do this time and this time and this time? And I was like, okay, man, at the very least, like stand up is still the thing. Stand up's always been like the pillar. And I rock up, and when you rock up to a comedy club, you know, you obviously check in. And I rock up and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm here for the 8 p.m. show. I was booked like 2 months ago. And they're like, oh, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, Joe Damon. And they're like, oh, we don't have your name here. I'm like, oh, all right. Where? Did I come on the wrong day? Like, is my name there at all? And the guy looked like for the next few days. He's like, nah, I've actually never seen your name. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And I pulled up the email and showed it, like, because the booker like gave me this slot, like, here's the email. And he looked at it and he's like, yeah, that's weird. Like, they just never let us know. And I was just like, fuck. Is this a sign that like this isn't for me? And the guy felt really bad, because I think he could tell. I don't think he obviously didn't have the full context. But I remember when he was telling me, I think he could see like there were tears welling up in my eyes. But obviously he didn't have the context of what that whole sort of month had been. It had just been like, not even rejection, just like no response. And then that was going to be like, for me, like, okay, but at least stand-up's there. And then when I rock up and they like didn't even have my name down, I was just like, fuck, maybe this just isn't for me. But he was the man. Like I still remember him. I think his name was Alex. I remember introducing myself and being like, I had like tears in my eyes, and I was like, well, my name's Joe. No worries at all about this misunderstanding. Like, I'll be back. Like, oh, my name's Alex. I remember him saying his name was Alex. And he's like, no, and I hope you are. He was real nice about it. And so I remember just walking out of the comedy store, and I was just like, yeah, just like tears welling off my eyes. And I just went for like a 40-minute walk along Hollywood Boulevard. And it's just real gutted, yeah. And I think I wasn't so much gutted about America not happening. Like, it actually wasn't that. I think it was more so, I almost felt like ashamed that I'd put so much of my life aside to get there, and then I felt like I'd sort of failed. And that's like a real confronting thing. So that was super tough. And I remember just coming back and just kind of been like, damn, what the fuck am I doing? And Tiana and I, we went for a walk along Melrose on like one of our last days there. And I said to her, like, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with comedy. Like, I think it's not for me. And I think this trip just like solidified it. Like, it was never meant for me. And she's the best. She was just like, look, I completely disagree, but I also see exactly where you're at, and I've seen how much work you've put in like over all these years. Because we met 6 years ago. Whilst I don't agree at all that this isn't for you, I absolutely would feel the exact same way that you do. And if you're done, like, I'm with you, and I'll support you in whatever you want to do. And I remember actually like letting go of it at that point, like being like, yeah, I do feel done. Like I think I am done. And she wasn't freaked out by it at all. She wasn't even sad. She was just like, all good. What do you think you'll do next? And I was like, I don't know. And I just kind of like let it all go. And then the very next day we went to Disneyland, and I just switched off from all the comedy shit. Didn't even think about it. Didn't even think about our combo or anything. We didn't talk about it at all. I just like fucking enjoyed Disneyland. And by the way, Disneyland in Anaheim, which is like an hour out of LA, it's unreal. So make sure you fucking go. That shit is unreal. I think it's Disney World, fuck knows. I just had the best day, man. Like, to this day, it's probably the best day of my life, for real. Me and T just enjoying Disney World and just fucking being kids. And she's like me, like just a big kid at heart. We are not serious people in the slightest. So we bought merch, we bought mouse ears. We were just like having fun, running around, like playing all the games. We rode on every ride. We got there as soon as it opens up. I think it opens up at 8. We got there at 8 and we left when it closed, which was midnight. So by the end of the day, we were fucking cooked. And fuck, it was just the best day, man. It was the best day. And I remember getting on the plane home, actually gutted for sure, disappointed in myself, beating myself up for sure, which I'm very bad at. But at the same time, also with this weird relief, because I really thought comedy was over. I remember being real relieved and being like, yeah, fuck, it's over. It almost feels good. And I had no plan, literally no plan. I fucking didn't know what I was going to do. But got back home and I didn't have any money, so I pretty much just had to take like the first few social media jobs that I could get. So I did those, and that was like a blessing because they paid me, and it was enough for me to be like, okay, sweet. Like, I just came back and I was able to earn enough money to tie me over for a couple months after like 3 weeks work. Like, what a blessing that is. Like, how crazy is that I'm at that point in my life where I can just do that. Like, immediately I need that, and like I can just come home and do it. And then my mindset just started to shift. I was like, fuck, you know what? Like, it's not that comedy wasn't for me. It's just, I think I got so caught up on this like end destination, and that was where I was meant to go next. I forgot to actually just enjoy like wherever it was I'm at. That's where like basically golf sort of started. T's brother was going to the driving range heaps. Like, he was coming down here all the time, and he would always like bug me because he knew that I used to play golf, and he'd just like always hit me up and ask me if I wanted to come along. And I always say like, nah, you go hard, bro. He's the man. One day I was just like, oh fuck, I got nothing better to do. So I went along to the range with him, and we were just smoking balls. I was like horrible. I think it was the first time I'd picked up a golf club in probably damn near 10 years, like properly. I'd obviously had like smacks here and there over the years, but that was the first time I'd properly like sit down and just like actually picked up a club and really went for it over like a couple hours. And that's been like the crazy thing with this whole sort of golf journey is like it kind of came at the end of where a period where I felt like I was just like done with like where I was at and done with like what I was doing. And it couldn't have come at a more perfect time, because when I was a kid, like that was all I ever loved doing, was playing golf. It's all I like dreamt about doing, was playing golf, being on the course, being around the game. Because comedy for me was never that. Like, I've always loved comedy, but it wasn't something that like I dreamed of. It wasn't something that, you know, I was super passionate about when I was a kid. Like, I loved comedy movies. Don't get me wrong, like I've always been super passionate about movies in particular, but not stand-up. Like, that was never what I figured I would do forever. And I've always said that, even when stand-up was going well. But golf was, if you had asked me when I was 10 years old, like what I wanted to do every day was golf. I just wanted to be at the course, even when I wasn't playing, like, and I was just going down with my granddad and just because my granddad, he loved playing, and he'd bring me along to the course and make me drive the golf cart. And I just loved that. And I loved like just watching him. I didn't know what the fuck he was up to. And the ball was on the end of his foot more than I was on the end of the club. Cunt was playing soccer out there. It was just the best. It was the best days of my granddad out on the golf course. And that all kind of came flooding back like that day when I was out here smacking the balls with Badge, Tiana's brother. And so it was real organic. Like I just started playing heaps more. My very first ever golf video, if you go back to the end of 2024, I'm actually out playing with Tiana's brothers, Dylan and Taylor Badge. And I had no plan to make golf content, but I just thought this could be a funny idea to shoot on the course. And it was just me like smacking balls, being an idiot. And the boys were the ones that like really pushed me to like come out and play with them. So I'll always be grateful for those two, because they were the ones that like pretty much forced the golf club back into my hands. That got me to where I'm at now. I've fallen in love with the game again. And I don't necessarily know what I'm doing in it, but I think that's the difference with how I'm sort of focusing on, you know, the golf side of things. I think a lot of people look at it and they're like, oh, like, so what's the go with the golf thing? Like, what's the plan? I'm like, there was never a plan. I just got back into it, and I've incorporated social media and comedy into it because that's just like what I enjoy doing and what I know. But there's no like plan to it, and there never was. Like, if America works out, I probably don't ever pick up a golf club. But America not working out has been like, at least for this period, like the greatest thing to happen to me, because I got to rediscover like a love for something that I've had so deep in me since I was a kid. And it's just the best thing ever. And that's why I start every day here just hacking balls and practicing. And it's yes to get better, but more than anything, it's just because fuck, there ain't nothing better. So that's where the golf journey like all started, where it all came from. And I don't exactly know like what I'm doing with it. I've got like great plans that have come from that, but it was never intentional. It's not part of this like bigger strategy that was to get things like moving. It's just because fuck, I just enjoyed it, and I now just want to focus on doing things that I enjoy that like make me happy, and that's playing golf. That's why we're out here. That's why we're on the grind. It's not to chase scratch or to get into a fucking professional tournament or anything. It's just because golf is unreal. Golf makes me happy. I'd love to do it every day. So I never even planned for this video to be like that, but there you go. So appreciate you guys, man. I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing with this channel, but I'm enjoying making the shit that's on it. So sending love to you guys. Slingers all day. Sling, sling, sling away. And the biggest thing that I wanted to, I guess, get across with that message to all the slingers is golf isn't a thing that you need to dedicate your life to. It's not something that needs to have some sort of outcome or some sort of thing that designates like not only how good you are as a golfer and then onwards who you are as a person. Golf could just be a part of your life. It can just be this thing that makes you happy, that you enjoy, and yes, you want to get better, and yes, you want to play better, but that's just like any part of life. You want your life to be the best it could be. That's not to say that it's a bad day if it isn't the best. It's just another day on the journey that you're on, and that's what being a slinger is all about. Make sure you join the Slingers Facebook group and just have fun, man, and enjoy your life. It's a good one when you let it be, and that was the lesson that America taught me, and can't wait to learn more. So appreciate you finding that.